Hey there! So I'm continuing with some healthy, fresh ideas for the new year. Stuffed peppers. If you guys have not ever made stuffed peppers, highly recommend it. This is a recipe that we've been using for many years. It's a family favorite. I know I keep doing family favorites, but that's what I make for my family. I have a nice stained piece of paper I printed off the internet years ago. In 2007, it's even dated. So this recipe I actually got from Food Network's website. It's a Giada DeLaurentis recipe, and I love it. It's easy, it's quick, it's filling, it makes great leftovers. It's just a total winner all around, and it's pretty healthy. So I'm going to show you the basics of what I do. It involves ground turkey, but you could use any kind of ground meat you wanted. And so I start with a big bowl. I already did it because I didn't want to cry on camera because sometimes I'm a little sensitive to onions. But I put my grater in here and I grated my onion. The recipe calls for one small onion. I had a really large onion, so I just cut it in half and used that. And obviously be real careful when you're grating it. But then the juice and all the parts of the onion are already here in the bowl for you. So I prepped my ingredients so you didn't have to watch me measuring everything out. But you start with your onion, and then you're gonna add in parsley, and that's a 1/4 cup of parsley. You're gonna do 1 egg, and you're gonna do 3 cloves of garlic. I was actually out of fresh, so I used my handy Trader Joe's frozen garlic cubes, and they've been just sitting out here. Those will go in there. A teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon black pepper goes in, and 3 tablespoons of ketchup. So I get that all in there before I add my meat. Sounds like the drums are starting. We'll see how long we can get going here. And I mix all of this together to kind of get almost like my base of all the yummy kind of wet ingredients. And then I will be adding in a 1/4 cup of ground Parmesan cheese. You could do a different kind of recipe. For here actually calls for Pecorino Romano. I stayed in an Italian family, but I'm using Parmesan because that's what I had, Parmesan Reggiano, already grated, so that will go in. And then, oh sorry, that was a 1/3 cup of cheese. This is a 1/4 cup of plain breadcrumbs. So those will go in, mix it up. You can see it does come together pretty quickly, especially if you prep your ingredients. And if you're a busy person, that's something that you could do actually ahead of time. But there's the base. In goes I did ground turkey. In goes my pound of ground turkey. I will mix this through, and then we will start stuffing the peppers. So one of the things with this, if you were doing, obviously if you were gluten-free, you could do some gluten-free breadcrumbs. The point of breadcrumbs and eggs, you guys, is just to act as a binder. So if you were somebody who was trying to follow a vegan diet, just do a search for substitute for what could be a great binder that maybe gives you that, you know, what you need and what you require as somebody who's trying to follow a vegan diet. Although, duh, you wouldn't be making this if you were a vegan. See how smart I am? Because you won't have any meat. Never mind. But you could do it with veggies, black beans, rice. You could make it kind of a, you know, Spanish style stuffed pepper. So I suppose there is a way. There's totally a way, but a little different than this recipe. Something else I wanted to show you before I stuff. On the bottom of my 9x13, I put a little bit of olive oil, and then my peppers I broke open, and I want to show you. I take my peppers and I cut them down the top of the stem, and then real simple. You don't need to get all fancy with a knife. I literally just take my hand and I put my thumb back here, and I just slowly snap off that stem, and then I take out any of the white pithy part, any seeds, and then the pepper goes in there, all ready for stuffing. Now the measurement, I don't have like an exact measurement. I just kind of start slowly and then slowly top them off as I see fit, but this amount should fit in here. The recipe that Giada does actually calls for stuffed peppers and stuffed zucchini. And what she does is she takes her zucchinis and splits them, Tucker's excited, splits them the length way down, takes a small spoon and kind of carves out where the seeds of the zucchini would be, and makes like a little zucchini boat. It's like a long kind of skinny boat, and she'll put a long little strip of this meat in there. I love the zucchini, but my family doesn't love it, so I just stick with the peppers and it works. So in here, obviously I've used 4 peppers, so 4 halves. But what I'll do is I'll get these stuffed up, and then I top them. They're supposed to be topped with marinara sauce. And she has a recipe in her actual recipe that I printed off, I just use a good jar of whatever your favorite marinara is to save time and ease, but it is fun to make your own marinara. So if you happen to have that on hand, recipe technically calls for 1.5 cups. I think that's a little bit scant because, it's a little bit short to me, because I like lots of the marinara, because I'll usually serve this with some brown rice on the side, and then we put some of that yummy marinara on the rice, and it's really good together. So I use a whole jar. This is a 24-ounce jar, but some of them are 16. But anyways, once they're all stuffed, I pour the jar of sauce all over and I pop them into the oven, 400 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. I'm gonna double check. 45 minutes. I was a little off. My nose is running, sorry, from the pepper. Okay, so I'll get these guys stuffed and I'll show you what they look like right before I pop them in the oven. Okay, the sauce went on these things. You can see the whole jar. It didn't fill it up like a big pool. They'll go into the oven, 400 degrees for about 45 minutes. You want the center of the meat to register about 165 degrees because it's a poultry product. You don't want to underbake these. You definitely want to make sure they're cooked through using ground turkey, but you could use ground beef, you can use ground chicken, ground pork, I suppose, if you wanted to. So turkey is what I use with this. It's kind of the standard for us in this recipe. So I will give you a little shot of the taste test when they're all done. Finished product. You guys, it's so good and hot, so I'll have to be careful. I ended up doing some orzo pilaf on the side, which is basically orzo pasta, a little bit of butter. You kind of pan fry it in a big saucepan and get it toasty, and then add chicken stock and let it kind of come up, and it makes this pilaf looking pasta. That was the boys' choice. Tyler has a friend over, so they were like, we don't want rice, and certainly not cauliflower rice, which I thought would have been great. But anyways, this is what we got. So the peppers are stuffed and baked to perfection, super yummy. And you guys, they really are just really almost like a one-dish wonder. You could do a small salad on the side if you wanted to have some more vegetables. And certainly, I'm sure you could add a little more veggie into your stuffing of the meat if you wanted to just, get in those extra good nutrition bits and whatever. But this is how I do it. So I'm gonna have a taste. It's hot, I'm scared, but I'm excited. Oh, the orzo is pretty nice with that. Of course it is, it's pasta. Peppers are still a little bit crisp. Sweetness, slightly from the bell pepper. The meat has a little bit of that garlic. It has, it's just a good balance of pepper and salt and spice. And then the marinara is a really nice flavor. The whole thing comes together. Oh, I forgot a little sprinkle of cheese. Just a little more on top because it's pretty. What I honestly love about these, they're good the first night. They're even better the second night. One of these peppers, I just have it by itself, microwaved, heated up, and it's so good the next day because I think the flavors have more time to hang out together. So anyways, give this one a try. If you have a stuffed pepper recipe you love, let me know about it. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. I don't know exactly how it works because I manage mine, but there's a place where you can check to say that you want to be updated because there's a whole lot of videos I've done, and if this is the first one you've watched, click on videos on my YouTube channel and you can go back and see all the videos I've done because there's probably 25 at this point. So it's been super fun. I love sharing ideas and helping empower you to get in the kitchen and cook. So stuffed peppers, give them a try. Okay guys, so from a teenage boy perspective, stuffed peppers, true test taste. Thoughts?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Stefano says good. Tyler, 2 thumbs up. That's a good sign. And then the orzo, of course. Who doesn't like pasta? Right, Daddy?
Yes.